But again, thinking systematically, what this really means, right, is that the nature of structure in human systems is subtle because we are a part of it. We're a part of this profession, right? But it also means that we have the power to alter the structures in which we are operating. The thing that always frustrates me about our profession as a whole and every level is that we talk about how we'll never change. Again, when we don't see the structures, we're really talking about how we will never change because we are changing this profession daily. What was talked about today is not what was talked about 5 years ago. The profession is constantly evolving. That's the reality that I'm seeing. But if we don't perceive our power to create change internally, we in fact don't see the structures that are at play at all. Rather, we just find ourselves feeling compelled to act in certain ways. How many times have you seen somebody program a certain way, follow a certain structure, do a certain thing just because? A lot, in my experience. But again, this doesn't come from me. This comes from Peter M. Senge, who wrote the book on this stuff, right? Systems-based thinking is simple. Why do we see what we see? Why do we feel what we feel? Why do these things stay the same? Why do things change? That's it, right? Think of it like an iceberg. When people only react to the event, we're just seeing the tip of it. But again, the behavior patterns that created it aren't seen. The systemic structures underneath it aren't available. The mental models that created it aren't understood, and the vision is not communicated well at all. How many times has your athletic director said, this is what I want to do, but there was no real vision of how to get there? Same thing with your sport coach, same thing with your athletes. Well, I really want to do this, but they have no clear vision of what it is they're seeing, right? We don't see the whole picture, right? But again, in our world, it looks like this. And again, with our identity being at the bottom of it, anytime anybody challenges our exercise selection or our routines or our programs, it's a direct reflection of who we believe ourselves to be, which is why I believe we are so defensive. There's a reason why we are so defensive. And this is what I've seen, and this is what my theory is of why we're so defensive in this position. Because again, we got to understand that we don't act interdependent or independently. Our identity is interconnected to all of these things. From the way that we think, from the things that we do, to the words and actions that we say, right? We have to understand how to create the whole. That's why I say we have an identity crisis, because what I'm seeing when I walk through your guys' system and the systems of a lot of coaches is that these things aren't very well established. And what I mean by that is that they're not in one location that everyone can access. So that's what we're doing with your system, is we're creating your systemic identity and interconnecting all of these different things to one single source. So I hope that makes more sense.